Now on All Our FM, a special broadcast with George Matlock.
We've got on the line Sir Cliff Richard. First of all, Sir Cliff, thank you very much for joining us here on Radio All FM.
That's my pleasure, George.
Today is Cliff Richard Day on the station, and we are going to be playing lots of your songs throughout the day, as well as your big song, which has just been released a week ago, called Thank You for a Lifetime. Sir Cliff, can I ask you, first of all, the song it's a lovely song, I have to say. What actually made you decide to do this song?
Well, I didn't think I was going to find a song that was the right one for thanking, fans for 50 years of support, because it could turn out to be pretty yucky. But when I heard this one, I thought, well, this is kind of autobiographical. It talks about, I'm me remembering a kid standing on a stage trying to hold his nerve till he heard the music played. And I thought, well, that's how it was for me. So, and then, of course, the chorus is this wonderful thanks for sharing the story, and thanks for being there for me. So to me, it sounded not at all yucky, but everything that I wanted to put into a lyric that would say thanks to my fans and anybody who's supported me over the years.
Right. I mean, a lot of artists do autobiographical songs. In fact, some do albums. As you know, Sir Elton John himself did Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy back in the 70s when he was when he was just starting out, in fact. He was already writing his autobiography there. I hope this isn't going to be your last song. This is hopefully just a kind of a reality check, is it, this song, do you think? The first of many more?
It's my 50th year. It was the right time to make something like that. And that's it. Whether it's the last single I ever made, I don't really know, because singles don't actually sell. And I'm always going to be a recording artist. I'll keep recording, of course, but as things change, there's a heck of a lot of downloading going on, and therefore you don't sell CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, I suppose. If that's the way it goes, I shall try and edge my way into that. But at the moment, I'm someone who sells CDs, so I mean it's available to purchase, and I prefer CDs actually. Downloads are nowhere near the quality of a CD, so I'd rather make good quality product and make it available to the public.
You're absolutely right. Downloads are about a tenth of the quality of a CD. You're absolutely right.
They really are. I'm not quite sure why people are sucked into it, but never mind, they are, and that's the way we have to compete.
It's convenience food, and it's disposable razors, and it's convenience music, isn't it, these days? So, Cliff, you've also got an autobiography out called My Life, My Way. So, obviously, this ties in brilliantly with that. How long did it take you to write that book? You could say a lifetime, I'm sure, but how long really?
Well, the subject is a lifetime's worth of work, I guess, but I worked with Penny Juna, who helped me do it. We spent many, many hours, but we started talking about this about 18 months ago,
mm-hmm.
and we met 2 or 3 times across that period, and then finally sat down for a whole week, and she actually was like a psychiatrist. She was questioning me the whole time, and we put it all onto tape. And I philosophized much more about my past life and what my career means to me, what my parents mean to me, what various things that are topics of conversation, even in our newspapers these days, what I feel about those things. So it gave me a great freedom to be myself and express myself. And I guess it's the right time to do it. I am celebrating 50 years, and it's been a heck of a long time, although it seems to have slipped by rather quickly. And 18 months, I guess you could say it took to put together.
Oh, wow. Okay. The second song that's on the CD single is, and I hope I pronounce this correctly because it's quite a mouthful, Mobile Alabama School Leaving Hullabaloo. That's a great name for a song. It's a great track, actually. It's a great rock and roll track. But what came? How did you come up with that? Or in this case, how did Chris East come up with that title?
I recorded it in 1977 and never released it, so it's a previously unheard of song. But I recorded it with Bruce Welsh. He was the producer. And I forgot all about it, to be honest with you. And it was that period when I had Devil Woman and We Don't Talk Anymore. And I guess we thought we'd rather go with those two. And this one slipped through the mesh somehow. Anyway, when they were compiling this new CD pack that I have coming out shortly, called And They Said It Wouldn't Last, one of the songs, they sent me a whole bunch of titles saying, look, we found this song. Well, I sent the list back saying, I've never recorded that song. I would remember a title like that. Anyway, when I heard it, I realized I'd forgotten the title completely. I can't believe I did forget it. But it's a wonderful rock and roll song, and in fact, it's so good, I'm going to use it to close the first half of my forthcoming show.
Oh, wow.
When I start my tour on November the 10th and play throughout Britain. And it's such a wonderful rock and roll song.
Now,
and your pronunciation was pretty good.
Thank you for that. You could be a DJ as well, you know. Now, Sir Cliff, I want to ask you as well about Poland, because a lot of our listeners obviously are Polish, and I wanted to ask you, are you going to be touring out east at all?
Not at the moment. At the moment, the celebration, I've kind of kept it to Britain because this is where everything started for me and happened for me. Mm-hmm. And also, I can do the show I want to do here. When I tour, it's sometimes a real frustration for me that I have to take a show to places like Poland or wherever I can go, and I can't do the same show because the size of the stages are bigger. The height of the hall is not the same. I can't take the same lighting. I can't seem to take the same set. So before I even think about going abroad, what I'm going to do is do the show I want to do right here in Britain, and it's already planned and set up. The stuff is all being built as we speak, and I'll DVD it. I'll put it onto DVD and then make it available. And if ever I get a chance, of course, to do something like that, I will. But it's very, very expensive and also very disappointing when you plan a show and then you find you have to cut half of it out.
Absolutely. And now I know you spend some of your time in the UK. You're also in Portugal, is that right? You live down there?
Yeah, well, I've been going there since 1961, and it's a wonderful. The Algarve is a wonderful area. I must admit, it's very fine weather right through from May till now. Actually, I've had friends just come back from Portugal, and they said yesterday it was 30 degrees, and it's only 2 hours and 20 minutes away from London. I can't believe that we could have such different weather.
I have to say, it's only 2 hours and 20 minutes away to get to Warsaw, and they've had nearly 30 degrees Celsius all week. So it just goes to show how amazing the weather is outside of the UK. And I mean, from over 50 years, 50 years is an incredible milestone in itself in the show business world. It really is remarkable. Have you? I'm sure you have toured out east before. What are your sort of recollections of touring out in East Europe in all these wonderful years?
I don't think I've been to Eastern Europe for quite a long time now. I guess when I first went, it always seemed technically rather primitive.
Right.
I'm sure things have changed drastically. I mean, I can't even remember how long ago it was that I was in Warsaw and various places, Prague, and it's in distant memory. But I guess all I can remember, most countries that I visit, I really, really only remember the fact how the public react. And we were always amazed how much they knew about the music that we played, and not just my music, but Western rock and roll stuff. And we were always very impressed by that. And their reaction was very warm. And so my memory is a very happy memory. So I look forward to coming back. I'd love to come back to not only Eastern Europe, but all over Europe. I tend to tour less and less these days. But, it's always on the cards.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. And I should say as well that in Europe, you've always been very popular. I know that throughout the whole of continental Europe, you've had a very strong fan base as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I think I say I don't tour that often, but in fact, when I think about it now, in 2007, I toured right through from Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Holland, Belgium, Germany, and France. And I guess they're the places that I've been to most. And we should really think about the eastern side of Europe is actually very much on the map these days. So I have no excuse for not coming. I'm just hoping that maybe there's a promoter listening, and we'll be in touch.
We have that on record, and we'll do our best to help you on that merry way.
Okay.
Fantastic. And of course, finally on tennis, you must be pretty proud of Andy Murray's performance so far.
Yes, I think he had a wonderful, fantastic tournament, and he said himself that it was one of the greatest fortnights of his life. And quite rightly, even though he didn't win, he was still philosophical about how pleasurable it was to get to that position of playing in the final. And he did a great job. I mean, he sliced up Nadal. I've never seen Nadal collapse over and gasp for breath. And that's what Andy did to him. But I guess sometimes when he's only 21 years old, and it was a fantastic experience. And it's not just physical tennis. It's emotional and mental. And I guess pulling himself together to face the world's he's the world's number 2, but probably still the world's greatest player, Federer. He wasn't able to pull himself up to that grade war that we needed for that last thing. But he'll do it. He said he learned a lot. He learned from Federer that he still has a way to go, And anybody that can say that usually means they're going to work on it, and they almost certainly will do it.
That's fantastic. Well, that's enough about Andy Murray. We're here to talk about Sir Cliff Richard. Thank you very much for joining us today on
pleasure.
our show. And may you have, well, we want to thank you for a lifetime as well. And we hope it gets to number one and it stays there. And we hope one day to see you here in the studio as well.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me a day to myself. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Okay, George. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.